Hello, this is Muggin, and I'm back again because I feel like talking, and I feel like speaking from the heart, and I just want to express myself, to the best of my ability, and do what I didn't have the courage to do in the past. I'm living out my dream at the moment of being my authentic self publicly, without hiding a part of myself, And that's not to say that I wasn't being authentic before this, I was, and my little bubble, they know who I am, and I've expressed myself, and I've said who I am. But I feel but I feel the desire to really just say the things that I didn't have the courage to say in my youth. I made a video a few months back, or maybe even longer than that, about leaving Islam, and that was so liberating for me, because Islam had caused me so much pain in my life. For those of you who don't know, I'm Somali, and I come from a very conservative culture. I come from a collectivist culture, and one of the things that I learnt earlier on in my life was that my destiny was already created for me. And so all I had to do was submit to that and just follow that path. And, as a kid growing up, at least for me, I was a very agreeable kid. I didn't have a problem with following a script. I didn't have a problem with submitting to what was given to me by my family and culture and religion. But the problem arose when my culture and family and religion demanded, by any means necessary, that I forego, a core part of me. And I made in my podcast, The Inner Self Rising podcast, I released last night a short audio note of me coming out as a homosexual. And since then, I've just been reflecting on what it's been like, and what it's been like to be a homosexual, and to come to the conclusion that I am one, because for so long I was so confused about my own sexuality. My own sexuality was laced with confusion and trauma and denial and lack of clarity. And I'm the kind of person that strives for absolute clarity about me, about my life, just the truth. I want the truth, And so for a long time, I identified as a bisexual. And I'm sorry to the to all the bisexuals out there who are bisexual. I'm sorry that I added to the stereotype that that all bisexuals are actually in fact gay, but they're not. But I happen to be that homosexual that first identified as gay, and I'll tell you why. Like, The reason why I did is because it was two reasons, right? On one level, I was just so confused, right? And I wanted to get to the bottom of it. By the way, it's taken me 11 years to get to the bottom of this. And the other part was denial. And the other part was the trauma. So I grew up in a house, in a household, in a culture that dehumanized homosexuality. So so I was taught to hate myself. And I did for most of my life because of my sexual attraction to men. I thought there was something wrong with me. I thought I was disgusting. I thought that I didn't deserve anything good in life because I was a homosexual, or am a homosexual. And there's just so many, hurdles that I had to go through. First, just to even get to the point of facing that reality it took me years. And then once I got to a point where I was able to face that reality, it's like, oh shit! Well, now that I'm facing, I have to deal with all the years of repression, all the crap that I internalized, and you really don't know how oppressed you were until you leave that oppression. I didn't realize how much homophobia I had taken on internally, that I was blind to it. I was so full of self-loathing that it was so much larger than me that it became invincible. So you work through that, and in my world, I didn't know anyone that was gay, or at least I didn't think I did. Later on, I've come to find out that there are. And so, but they're all in the same boat as me, and it's such a strange place to be. And this is in Australia. It's not like I'm in the Middle East somewhere, or in Africa, or in Somalia. And so, I'm hearing a lot of violence towards homosexuals. The quiet acceptance, or the normalization of homosexuals being killed. The idea that being gay is punishable by death in Islam was normal. Not only normal, it was supported and accepted as something good, right, and just. To grow up in a world that believes about you, it's not easy. It's not easy. You suffer in ways that you can't even comprehend. I'm 37 now, and I'm still trying to articulate. I'm still not properly able to articulate, what that experience is. I'm unpacking so much. It's enabled me to get to this point that I'm so happy that I'm able to get to this point. I'm so grateful. It's not much for me that I'm only able to do this because I live in Australia. I live in a society that grew out of its ignorance, grew out of its hatred of homosexuals, and recognized the humanity of homosexuals. It's not lost to me that I live in a society that had become enlightened. Which is why I'm protective of Australia. And when I when I see just lies that are being told in Australia, I don't like it. You could say, like, I have freedom in Australia. I don't take that for granted whatsoever. But it's like, it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, I just come on here to talk. The wind is going crazy, so I'm hoping you guys can hear me properly. I'm trying to project my voice. And by the way, it's so weird being in front of the camera. Being behind the camera, just publishing audio notes is much easier for me than being in front of the camera. But it's a challenge for me, and I'm taking on this challenge because I don't want to be behind the camera. I want to show my face as a point of liberation. This is a point of liberation for me. This is a point of, you know what? This is me. I'm from Australia. I'm also Somali. I'm ex-Muslim, and I'm gay. And that's just what it is. And more importantly, I view one of the ways I've had to process my own suffering is, I felt like all this stuff that I'd gone through just to accept me, just to kind of live in my own authenticity, was just something that I didn't really have to go through had I come from a culture, a society that was enlightened enough to understand that people are individuals and people are different. And so there's just so much to unpack when you've been repressed so much. You don't get the I didn't get the opportunity to basically growing up to figure out what I like and don't like, and I've eventually done that on my own, but like it took a lot of work, and instead of focusing on my identity in the way that I was forced to, my efforts could have gone elsewhere. But I say that with no regret, because I have developed as a person, and I have created meaning out of this. Yeah, anyway, I'm gonna go. I'll definitely be back with more videos and more of my ramblings, so yeah. Alright, peace out.